Fresh.
It is 6:14, and I'm calling to order our workshop. And again, it is May the 12th, and a quorum is here with a new council person, Gary Ash. Welcome. Thank you. And this is Jill's show.
Yes. All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I'd like to walk you through the journey of our Explore Trophy Club program and share what we've accomplished and where we'd like to take the program next. The Explore Trophy Club initiative was launched to spotlight our town as a destination and drive business in. It's a key part of our strategy to support local enterprises and align with broader town goals like economic vitality and regional brand presence. Council's support from the beginning has helped us stay focused on building something valuable. We got started by hiring Octagon Media, a full-service advertising and marketing firm, who helped us develop the brand look, feel, and rollout. Once the brand was established, Explore Trophy Club, was created, then we parlayed it into a user-friendly digital platform. With branding and platforms in place, we turned to outreach, bringing Explore Trophy Club to life across social media channels and digital advertising channels. Efforts included targeted digital out-of-home advertising placements, static and video display ads, and paid Google search, all geared to driving awareness and traffic to our website and our businesses. We're continuing to evolve Explore Trophy Club, and to date, we have completed our contract with Octagon Media and have taken over management of creative design and digital content in-house. We have also continued to update the Explore website, enhancing both our internal controls and community messaging. The Explore Trophy Club initiative was aimed to raise awareness and support our business community, and particularly our hotels. Throughout this initiative, we received feedback from our hotel partners, and while Explore Trophy Club, the campaign itself, has increased visibility, what they truly need is support in driving bookings and boosting overnight stays. Their priorities are more direct and measurable and less about likes and impressions and more about putting heads in beds. So based on that, we're proposing to include more tangible tools like an incentive-based program and strategic signage placements. These programs will more directly translate into bookings and economic benefit to our hotels. The proposed tourism incentive program will offer a structured way to support our hoteliers through rebates and co-branded marketing efforts. It's a meaningful way to incentivize event bookings and opportunities. Next, we'll explore signage placement along State Highway 114. A highly visible placement can be effective in directing traffic to a business and has proven to be a successful tactic for hoteliers in other areas. Together, these initiatives are designed to enhance Trophy Club's appeal as a competitive regional destination. Explore Trophy Club has come a long way, from building the brand to delivering strong engagement. We've laid a good foundation. We've reached over 2 million people, increased community visibility, and supported our businesses, all while maintaining alignment with our strategic plan. These proposed programs are designed to make our efforts more efficient, more targeted, and more impactful. We're confident that with your continued support, Explore Trophy Club will continue to be a valuable economic development tool. And with that, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Well, I would like to say that you did take this Explore Trophy Club from the beginning to where we are now, and it has given us good information and probably the best way to move forward, which I appreciate, because I guess in that, I was somewhat disappointed, I believe, in the businesses not stepping up and participating more.
Right.
Given the opportunity they had to advertise for free, and they probably didn't do that. So my hope is that with the 4 hotels, you're going to have a stronger relationship with them, and they'll really utilize it and help to make it happen. And I think that will help to you bring your team down, and they'll be focused.
And we'll continue to support the non-hotel businesses, of course, and
yeah.
doing their social media promotion and stuff.
Right.
And some of them were very engaged, and they were great. Social Oak did a great job, and they were always communicative with us.
I wonder if it showed. Do you know the difference?
So with advertising marketing, that's a hard, intangible thing to track. there are formulas that exist, yes, where you could, measure the ROI on it, but it's truly hard. And what we tasked Octagon with was driving impressions to the website. And so, yeah, we can say with the numbers that we've received, how many views over, we've collectively had over 2 million impressions. That's eyeballs on our stuff and on our destination, and that's great. But to say that those converted and came here and ate, it's hard to do.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to this opportunity.
So Jill, I do have a comment. When we first launched this way back when, there was a big pitch on Octagon, and they were the kind of the experts in the field, and we're going to take it to the next level. So can you walk us through the decision to bring it in-house? I guess is the first part of the question.
Sure.
And the second part is, do we have the expertise to get us to that next level?
So with Octagon, from the get-go, the contract with them was a 2-year agreement. So I think the vision, with the program itself was to eventually take that on internally. And that's why we added a second position to my department, was to help offset some of that workload when we did take it on fully. And Octagon did a great job in a lot of different ways, but there were some balls dropped along the way, which we've talked about last year. They went through some transition with their team members, and so that's kind of where a lot of things did get lost. And they executed what we asked them to. Had we been able to really get positive, results from it, or that ROI on it, maybe we could have extended the agreement or something. But we felt like this is a good time with that contract ending, is to pivot and change kind of what our priorities were and focus on the hotels a little bit more. As far as capacity-wise for us, Kelly's awesome in my department. I will give her massive kudos. She runs our pub safety, social media. She's taken this on more so than I've even had time to. So she's out there getting pictures, sharing content. And so it's a lot of work, but we try to plan it out and make sure that her workload's not overwhelmed with it. And I think we're hitting the goals and continuing on the conversation that we were having before with Octagon. Octagon was great. Their social media management was fantastic. I mean, he created stuff without having information being given to him, the gentleman that was running it. Now with it being here, now we can go outside our door and do it ourselves and get those pictures more on the spot. It's going to be helpful. I mean, it's going to maybe offset what we're giving up and them planning our content. We're going to gain in being able to go out and collect pictures and get true imagery on our own.
Yeah, I guess my whole point was, we've got a lot vested in this year, right? 2 years and however much money. We don't want to take a step backwards. We want to continue to move forward. So we challenge the team internally to make sure that happens.
And that's our goal. I think we did take down the Facebook page for about a month and a half. We're focusing more on the Instagram. It's got more followers. But now we've leveraged a platform planning tool that we have, Sprout Social. And so we've brought the Facebook page back online. And so when we do post on social, we can do it and it'll hit both channels. With the advertising component, that's where we're going to step back a little bit. And if we choose to go out and do some paid advertising again, like the digital displays and whatnot, we won't be doing as many all at once. So we'll be able to kind of manage if we want to do the billboard over in Roanoke that we've talked about, or if we want to do a placement and an advertising piece, a publication, and do it kind of bite-sized, we can manage that better than what they were doing, which was, here's all this media buy and we're going to do all this for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I really like the pattern of going outside to establish something that didn't exist before, and then once the competency is there and the basis has been formed, bringing it back in. I think we've all probably been through similar experiences in our various career endeavors over the years, and that's a really efficient way to use resources, I think. So I like that aspect of this. It shows that you guys are trying to maximize the value of our investment in not only this, but all the other activities that your office is responsible for. So that's nice to see. I will say I think it's very difficult, and you spoke to it, and I think it's something we need to keep in mind when we think about our goals, is that it's very difficult to, as Trophy Club, we don't have a traditional tourist draw, so to speak, right? We have things that regionally could be attractive to people who live near but not too far. And we've talked about that before when we talk about what it means to be kind of regionally attractive in various ways. And so I can kind of see that you all are trying to focus on that as a more targeted approach to how you utilize your resources instead of a more genericized approach that maybe a larger city with some more traditional tourist attractions would be able to employ. So I appreciate that, because like you said, it's impossible to attribute foot traffic to retail and restaurant to social media.
Advertisement.
There is one way to get an absolute 100% attribution, and this is something that I've had people ask me about relative to our hot taxes all throughout, which is when we go to eventually establishing the program that you teased as sort of a next phase of what you all are doing, do we have the ability through hot tax and through programs with our hotels to provide like vouchers for people who stay locally to use, hey, here's $20 towards Hutchins Barbecue, that type of thing? Is that something that's potentially on the table with hot tax?
Yeah, I would envision that to go along with the
Yeah,
tourism incentive program, because that way we're putting it on the hotels to kind of work with the restaurants or the businesses that they can and they want to coordinate with. And that way we're guaranteeing that the people are staying at the hotel and it's an incentive. And then they could ask for the reimbursement back. So I definitely see that as part of, and that's why we say co-op marketing programs.
Yeah.
That would be an example of one.
Right. The only other, I'm trying to think if I had any other thoughts specific to that. What was the other thing you just said you were bringing it in-house, so we talked about that. All right, that's all I have.
I do have a question. Have you spoken with any of the hotel owners about what planning and what has been their response?
We have. Actually, Raj has been really great, and he asked about the rebates and the incentive program early on, and so I sent all of the hoteliers a copy of the draft to take a look at. We've gotten feedback from from Raj and then from the general manager at the Aloft, and they've got some comments, so I'll be taking their comments and then kind of reworking in the policy before we were to bring it forward to you guys. But definitely working with them, and I want all of them to make sure they have eyes on it so that we're hitting what we need to hit for them.
Yeah, I would like to have 100% participation from them.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, it's money for them
It
to
is.
take advantage of, so it's,
and it goes to what Ryland just said. It does allow us to feed into our restaurants through the hotel, so the hotel becomes more responsible for pushing people out there.
well, and Mr. Sheridan, you had asked a question about the annual executive tourism meeting. So we're still kind of,
I was getting ready to ask.
so we're still fleshing that out, but the vision of that would be a sit-down, either collectively with the group of hotels at the end and probably beginning of the year, make sure, hey, this is what you have available, this is what we're going to be doing, and then meeting at the end of the year, hey, did you use it? What could we have done or changed differently so that we're, again, meeting that need? So I don't have it quite defined yet, but that's the goal of that.
Okay. If I understand you correctly, the Octagon, you think there's a positive ROI on that money spent?
I think for our goals of the launch of the program and just getting our name out there and that exposure, I do. Some of the digital ads, the DOOH, you asked about DFW Airport, they were run at DFW Airport. I have actually a list of all of the display areas, screens that they were on. So gas station pumps, where they have the screens and the videos, they were running on there. I think we had Grapevine Mills Mall, it was running at one point. So I think for that initial launch, yes, absolutely. I think that I don't want to rule out advertising moving forward. I think that doing things that are more deliberate and may hit a little harder, like the display in Roanoke is a great stoplight. It's a great access point. Everybody has gone over that way, so maybe spending those dollars towards a placement like that might be more beneficial than kind of, the multiple screen approach.
And you mentioned it, and Ryland mentioned it, and Gary had mentioned it too. The restaurant gift cards, I like that. That's a very positive thing to me.
We'll definitely talk to the
use.
hoteliers and see how we can make that work.
That not just helps our hotels that are actually restaurants,
Yes.
sales tax.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, and another question. Regarding the signage, it's a $5,000 investment per hotel, and then we subsidize that cost?
So I think the way the policy we wrote it was we would reimburse 75% of that, and it's 5,000 or 7,500. I have to go back and double check the number, but yeah, we would pay majority of it.
But they would have to be the one that would really initiate that. They're going to have to say, we want to spend that money, and we will support it.
True.
Yeah.
But they are also, that's one of the items that Raj brought to us too, is
okay.
he said, this has worked in other locations for us when you put those signs out on 114. I kind of was a little hesitant to it myself, but to hear it from him that it's benefited them at other properties,
Sure.
you know, and you want to put it through the program, that's a great use of it. It meets one of the hot 7
Well, right
bullets.
now, people driving down 114 have no idea we have these hotels on,
Right,
in Trophy Club.
right. And just the brand recognition of
Yeah,
it too is a big deal,
course.
he said.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that'd be great. So how long will it take to get this all implemented?
I've got a draft together. Like I said, I got feedback from the hoteliers that I'd like to meet with Brandon and kind of work in, and then we'll finalize a draft and get something to you guys to review.
So like soon?
Not too many, yeah,
Yeah.
within a month or two.
Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the deadlines for the spring was April, so if we target, you know, to hit it for FY '26 too, so that we can put money in the budget for it as well.
Okay, good. Any other questions? Speak up, Gary.
I just want to say what Ryland and Dennis already said. The restaurant piece of it is critical.
Okay.
So in my mind, it shouldn't just be the hotels reaching out. It should be the restaurants, let's bring them in, put them together. I mean, they may want to say, you know what, you come into my restaurant, there's 10% over here, we'll kick in 5 or something, because that's plus business, you would hope.
Yeah,
So I think we really need to do a good job of getting those parties together.
connected.
That's the,
And I've got the contacts for the businesses to the best of my knowledge to date, so I can share that information with the hoteliers too, and maybe we can even set up just another come-together, explore meeting and invite everybody, and they can kind of discuss that together.
well, maybe once you get this ready, you can introduce it to the restaurants, at which time you could explore this other, because now they're going to see we're actually, you know, this is going to happen. And
Yeah.
this to dovetail in there.
Yeah.
Good job.
Like it.
Anybody else?
I just got a couple items. So I'm new up here, right?
No, it's
All right,
great.
So I'm going to apologize if things I would be interested in is the average tax we get per stay when somebody visits us, right? Is do we collect $30, $20, 20, 30, right? Because that'll help kind of determine the value of the voucher, right? So we figure an average because we don't want to give away everything. And then the other thing too is when we talk to the hotel owners, do they track the percentage of corporate stays versus private stays?
Yes, generally,
Okay, so
generally.
if we can get that, it'd be great.
Yeah, we can definitely make the ask. A lot of times the hoteliers are hesitant to share that information because we are a public record entity, so anything they give us is now public record. And so from a competitive stance, even though, you know, I call it, you know, it's collaboration, but we're also in competition together. So it would just be something that maybe either individually, well, it's open record, so it would just kind of, they might not be as willing to give up.
Well, we could just target those corporations with the vouchers. Make sure they're aware of it too.
Right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hey, what are we going to do for the next, 28
Go
minutes?
get another coffee?
Anything else you want to say?
No, I
Anything else you-
appreciate y'all very
you don't need-
much.
What do you need from us? Anything?
No, this
You
is
good?
great.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
6:32, we adjourn, and we'll reconvene at 7 o'clock for our meeting. Thank you. So enjoy your time off. 7 o'clock. And we are opening our Town of Trophy Club Town Council meeting. It is May the 12th, 2025. And we are all here with, again, a new council member joining us. Gary Ash, welcome to our team. We appreciate you being here. And as usual, I want to say welcome to those who are online listening or watching live, or you may pick it up on YouTube later on. And we really appreciate you tuning in and hearing what we have to say, what the town's doing, what we are busy. That's one thing I want you to know is we are working for you, the people of Trophy Club. So if you will please stand, we have our invocation by Pastor Joel Keeley of Bar Church, and we appreciate you so much, Joel. Thank you.
Okay, let's pray. God, you are a good God, and you are a God of many blessings and many gifts, and I pray we'd be grateful and generous and kind. I pray, Father, we would serve and give and love people well, and I thank you for this town council. Pray for unity, peace, and just productivity, and just a great meeting tonight, and thank you for those that serve and protect us, those that are taking risks. Thank you for our teachers, and bless them at the end of this year, and faculty, and all our schools. Continue to keep them safe. And thank you, Lord, for Trophy Club, man, for this town and what it means to us. And may your will be done in our lives, and we treat people well and love people strong. Through Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Pledges? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas.
Honor the Texas
Flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. Tammy, do we have public comments?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. We would go to the community spotlight and just a few comments. If anyone has anything to say, the town council members, anybody have comments you'd like to make? Yes, Steve.
Just thanks to the whole team and staff for Touch a Truck on Saturday. Great event. It was packed when I was there, and everybody seemed to enjoy it, so well done.
Okay. Anyone else? I do have to say, you know what? It just makes me filled with joy to go out into our town events and have the opportunity to stroll among the families, be with the children, and all that goes on. It just, I'm telling you, our town is packed with kids. So our schools have there's nothing to worry about for schools in the future in this town. We just have wonderful families, and we appreciate them supporting our events. And it's just a real blessing to see the families in Trophy Club. As Steve said, I mean, I've seen a lot of different posts on Facebook enjoying and appreciating Parks and Rec, the Touch a Truck, and it was very successful. Thank you very much. Anybody else have comments? Okie dokie, we will go to the town manager, Brandon.
Okay, good evening. We are coming up close in a couple of weeks on our transition to CWD for our new garbage contractor here in the community. So beginning June 1, the new company will take over, CWD. With that will come a couple of changes that we wanted to make sure that residents are aware of over the next couple of weeks. First of all, beginning Monday, May 26th, the new provider, CWD, will begin delivering the 18-gallon carts, the recycling carts, to residents here in the community. Okay, so they'll start to do it over a series of days. So beginning Monday, May 26th, you'll see a green bin appear in your yard on it that is not left there by chance. Go ahead and take that, put it in your garage or somewhere safe, and you'll begin using that after June 1st for your recycling service. As a reminder, the blue bins that residents currently use, the Republic recycling bins, will not be collected with the new waste hauler. Okay, so those are the old ones. You can take your old ones beginning on Sunday, May 25th through Friday, June 6th. There will be a 30-yard trash roll-off dumpster on the west side of HD Supply there in the asphalt parking lot area. Residents can take their blue bins there and they can recycle them there at that location. If they don't want to do that, you can just keep the blue carts as well. Just keep it for yourself and use it for whatever purpose you want, except for, please don't put your recycling in it and put it out on the corner because it will not be collected. For those who are still used to using either their own recycling bins or using the blue bins for recycling, those will, if you are using that after June 1st, beginning June 9th, they'll get a tag on their garbage. So they'll still collect it for a little bit, right? Through June 9th, there'll be a tag on the garbage can, on the recycling can, letting them know that they need to switch over to the CWD containers, all right? But then beginning June 16th, they won't be collecting those anymore. So we want to try and make sure that this transition happens as smoothly as possible. However, I would foresee that this recycling issue is probably going to be the one that is going to trip up most, be probably the largest number of calls that we have regarding confusion over that. So if you see anyone, help them remember that when the new recycling cart arrives at your home, please use that for your recycling purposes. If you'd like to upgrade to a larger cart for recycling, it's a 95-gallon cart, and that's an additional add-on service through CWD. If you have a larger recycling bin that you've been using previously, those won't be collected after the new contractor takes place. So go ahead and make that transition sooner so that you're not left with the small bins and using those for a little while the larger cart is being delivered.
It seems like they've gifted us with a good way to message that since they're green, go green
Go green.
on June 1st,
There you go. Go green.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay.
right? It's the only way I'm going to remember.
Yeah,
Would you, step one, go back just, if you would?
sure.
Repeat how we get our new bin, the big bin.
Big bin, yep. So remember that the 18-gallon bins, the small ones, those are free.
Correct.
And you can collect up to 3 of those and put them out on the curb for collection, okay? Those will arrive just magically on your, in front of your house, beginning the week of Monday, May 26th.
Correct.
Okay, if you want the larger one, all right, and you want the upgraded service, you go to our website. Okay, and you can sign up there on our website. There's a location for you to do that. Just put in your information. We download that list. We send it to CWD. They then put you on the list, and then magically you'll have the 95-gallon blue bin show up at your house for collection there.
So magically, one bin, the smaller green bin will show up?
Correct.
How does the magic happen if you
For
want
the
2 more?
and 3, yes.
Yes.
So 2 and 3, Tamara, in fact, Tamara, how are you doing back there? Why don't you come on up, Tamara, real fast and let everyone know exactly how it is that that second and
Okay,
third cart
Tamara.
can show up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yes, if you need 2 or 3 bins, you can contact the town or you can contact CWD. On the website, they have a phone number, and then you hit number 2 on the keypad, and that will go to customer service. They will then deliver the multiple ones to you at your next recycling date. But for the very first week, from the 25th, like Brandon was stating, from the 25th through that first week, you'll only receive the 1 recycling bin that you've been given. You can contact us, and then we'll bring out more. The CWD will bring out more. And then if you decided that you weren't going to do the 95-gallon cart, that will be delivered on a Wednesday. And if you signed up on the form, those will be delivered on Wednesday. If you haven't yet, it'll be delivered on the next Wednesday.
Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Now, where are you going to be on June the 1st, Brandon?
Delivering cart.
I'll be at the most magical place on earth.
I know,
yep.
exactly.
Trophy Club.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, just anticipating what's going to be happening here. It should go very, very well. Luckily, CWD has been a great contractor to work with, first of all. They're very well organized, very ready for this. However, we do know going into this that recycling is going to be a bit of a trick up for people to make sure that the new process is getting used to. The other part will be everyone's collection days are changing slightly, right? So make sure to go to the website, take a look at where you live, and take a look at how that adjustment is happening. For some parts of the town, your collections are going to remain on Tuesday, Friday. For other parts of the town, it will go to Monday, Thursday. And then there are also then, for a lot of places, right, there are 4 different zones for recycling collection. So your recycling collection could be either on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday, depending on that. It's all very confusing. Go to the website. It's going to help out a lot for your information to be able to get what you need to know for that. It might take a week or 2, but once everyone gets used to the new collection system, I think it's going to work wonderfully. All right, enough about garbage. Moving on to the next one, we do have some boards and commission meetings that are coming up. On May 13th, we have the Ethics Commission meeting at 6 p.m. That will be tomorrow evening. May 19th, the Parks and Rec Board meeting at 6 p.m. And then on May 22nd, we have our Economic Development Corporation Board meeting at 6 p.m. as well. We always invite the public to come and attend those meetings. They are open to the community. Some reminders for things. Memorial Day, town offices will be closed on Memorial Day, Monday, May 26th. Remember that obviously our emergency response services remain open. We will be having a Memorial Day ceremony. What time does that happen?
10 o'clock.
10.
10.
10?
10.
10 o'clock, all right, 10 o'clock over at Medland Cemetery. We'll be having that event. Breakfast with Tiffany will be on Monday, May 19th at Tom Thumb Starbucks. So we invite everyone to come out to that as well. And then as a reminder, our next council meeting will be held on a Tuesday, May 27th, because of Memorial Day on the Monday. So Tuesday night meeting that week. At the same time, we'll begin at 6 o'clock with a workshop and then 7 o'clock with the regular meeting. And that's all that I have, Mayor.
Thank you. And we have a quick civic tip.
So we just had a special meeting to canvass and to take oaths of office for our new council members. I do want to read this. This is section 5.07, just so the public can understand how all this comes together. The town secretary, with the concurrence of the council, shall promptly notify all persons elected to office. A candidate who's elected in a regular or special town election shall, after taking the oath of office as prescribed herein, which they've done, take office and enter upon his duties at the next council meeting which he is legally eligible to participate. So we had a special meeting, now we have a regular meeting, so their new council members can participate. So at this meeting, you also have another section of the charter. It's section 3.07, Mayor Pro Tem, and it states the council at its first meeting after the election of council members, and we'll consider that to be the last meeting, or the special meeting just before this meeting, shall elect one of its number as Mayor Pro Tem. He shall perform all the duties of the mayor in the absence of or disability of the mayor. So this gives everyone now seated on the council opportunity to select Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dean. Consent agenda? You don't need to read
I'll
them.
just read this part of the agenda consists of non-controversial or housekeeping items required by law. Items may be removed from consent by any council member by making such request prior to a motion and vote.
Okay, is there a motion?
Mayor, I move to approve consent agenda items 3, 4, and 5.
Second.
And Jeff seconds. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? Motion passes. Go to the individual items, please.
Item 6, consider authorizing the town manager to negotiate and execute a professional services agreement with Teagnall and Perkins for a not-to-exceed amount of $686,000 for survey, utility engineering, right-of-way acquisitions, civil engineering, bidding and construction administration, grant coordination, and construction inspection services for the Bobcat Traffic Improvements Project.
Okay. It's all yours, Matt.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. So if you'll recall, last year we did a townwide survey for the Bobcat traffic improvements, all near the Byron Nelson High School and then the other two schools. Just we also had Lee Engineering that came in and did a study, and I know each of y'all remember standing out there. We were doing traffic counts and things. So we had Lee Engineering came in towards the end of the year last year, made the proposal. We had multiple discussions with council, and we came up with this final plan here. The funding, we're using bond series, the 2023 funding, and then also if you recall, we had funding from Denton County for around $2 million. TMP, they delivered us a really nice detailed fee schedule for professional services for this project. And if you saw in your packet, it's listed out all the different items on there. Town attorney has reviewed the contract, and then also staff recommends approval for this. We did have a slide here. If you have any questions on this, Brandon and I are happy to answer any of these questions that you may have.
Okay, we're open for questions.
I have a question.
Thank you.
How is this dovetailing into the project with the school?
Carefully.
I'm mean, are we ready to start on this? I mean, have they given us something firm as to what they're gonna have for their entrance and exit points?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. So they are, the one part that they're continuing to design is the area that is the pedestrian access off of Parkview for that. However, that's not a roadway entrance, right? That would be only a pedestrian location there. And so that is relatively minor flat work that needs to be done to be able to accommodate that section. The timing of this, and I know that this dovetails into that question, but also knowing that the stadium is under construction, or going to be under construction here soon, with the anticipation that it's ready for the fall 2027 football season. That's the hope the school is working under right now for it. If we begin the project today, we're anticipating that the end of construction for the improvements in this zone would occur sometime around the summer of 2027 for that. So they would be timing relatively together for when things are really coming to completion.
So Matt, for those who are here tonight, watching live or will watch later, can you give a Cliff Notes version of what we're talking about? Just, 2 minutes of what it is we're doing specifically, because it's hard to read here on the screen if you're watching, so just
Correct.
Yeah, good,
quick overview.
good question.
So, right before I answer that, so today, we approved Northwest plans for all the remodel construction that's going on the campus itself. So, if y'all recall last meeting when we had the site plan, and the gentleman went through all the different things, so that will begin, they said they're hoping the 23rd or the 25th of this month. So they're gonna get after it on the actual remodel. Okay, so all that said, the construction trailer, and they're gonna be starting construction on the school quickly. The stadium is probably about another month out. Okay, so we've got Trophy Club here. This is what we were calling the driveway number 4, so that's that southeast corner. You've got the Montessori, if you can, y'all can see my cursor. So the Montessori is over here, so that kind of gives you an idea of. Part of this would be adding an additional a right turn lane into the school. So right now, you've just got the 2 lanes, so we're gonna widen that, so that's right-of-way work, and that's what the Teagnall and Perkins is. They were actually out with the survey crew in the last couple of weeks just looking at that. So that's gonna widen that to give a turn into the school. They're also looking at making a left turn lane into the Montessori, but we may be in some constraints of actual distance of trying to make that 5 lanes, 6 lanes wide on there. So they're still looking at that, but that's what we're hoping to have there on that left-hand turn. Same that Brandon just said, at Parkview, the focus there is just getting kids across Bobcat and back and forth. Up at Marshall Creek, so the big item here is right now kids are crossing, and so that's going to be a major change. So we don't want anybody, pedestrians in that roundabout area. So about here, so tennis courts, all of that is over here on this side, so in this area is just open land right now. So what we've discussed is having a sidewalk that will go up to here and then turn, and then they can cross there. Again, the key thing is not having anybody wanting to cross that roundabout. There is a pass-through, so just for clarification, you see single lane roundabout, that's 1 lane will go all the way around, but it's 2 lanes you've got to pass through. Does that make sense to everybody?
So it will be similar to the roundabout we have in.
Yes, sir, that's
okay.
correct.
Yeah.
So, same on this, on the actual school side, is trying to maintain a sidewalk and then some form of railing, maybe landscaping or retaining wall of some sort. That's things that we've discussed with Northwest, is coming down just to, again, concentrating and focusing on not having pedestrians cross over into that roundabout area. What else am I leaving out, Brandon?
I think you got it.
The flash, you were going to do a
Oh, flash.
flash.
So yes,
High School
so
Drive 3.
right now, they're at what we're calling the turn 4. There's 2 sets of flashers, and when Lee Engineering looked at that, it's fine the way it is right now, but when we go and add that second lane, the flasher on the east side will need to be removed. So we will just have the single flasher on the west side there of that intersection.
And then a flasher added
Yeah.
to the High School Drive number 3.
That's correct,
crossing
up here,
there.
yes.
Correct, yes.
Yes,
That's right.
and so we will stripe that, and it will look similar to the other stripe flashers.
Other questions?
I have one more follow-up.
go ahead.
All in, Matt, what is the total cost that we're talking about? And the second part of that is, if they're able to put in that left-hand turn lane, it sounds like maybe, maybe not, will that be an additional cost?
It's not an additional cost, it's just a matter of striping and making sure. So if we could wave a magic wand, that's exactly the way we would want, is to have a separate turn lane there. And so TMP's looking at that, but we may have issues with either utilities or right-of-way.
Yeah, so something to realize is kind of where we are in the process here, right? $4.5 million is the estimate. We've done site design with Lee Engineering with, back of the napkin type of estimates for what these are, right? And then some escalators on there to help make sure that we have sufficient funding. As we move into the actual construction design, the engineers will give us an opinion of probable cost as we go through that process. We'll revisit that cost with you when we get to that point. But there's a lot of exploration work that has not occurred that needs to occur before we finalize that number for that. 4.5, at this point, we're feeling very comfortable with that number with it, but we'll revisit with finalized numbers as we get that opinion of probable cost. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is the,
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
You go ahead.
So this is the, really, just so anyone who's listening or consuming this for the first time, this is the outcome of, like you said, a longer-term project where there were, resident input and there were traffic studies, and obviously we had several workshops on this item, and this is sort of where we landed. But, as you said, this is the design phase. This is not unlike about a decade ago when we were getting ready to build this thing. We had to spend a heck of a lot of money before we could even decide what to build. And we are now in the spend a lot of money to decide exactly what to build for this project, which is about half the cost of this building. So similar long-term, this is the first step in a long series of steps. And I would ask everyone's patience as we try to build to, accommodate our growth and our, just optimization of getting people to and from where they need to go in Trophy Club.
And to piggyback on that, we do ask for your patience. And we do ask that we're looking at $4.5 million, correct? Somewhere in there. So don't, like in the town, go ballistics. We do have the money, correct? We have $2 million coming from the Denton County to support the roundabout, and we have the $2.5 million out of the bond that we approved last year. So, and I think most importantly, like Rylan said, this is not a decision that we made 3 months ago. This has been a long-term decision with many people's input. So I'm just pleading to the town to, before you push back and say, oh, there they go, spending $4 million, look at the history, look at the facts, and help us in this decision. Because honestly, like I said, we are looking to the future for a lot of kids coming through those schools for many, many years to come. And the traffic needs to be managed around this whole area. It's very important to this town. So I am just saying it now, and we'll probably say it again, but we know how things go, and I'm just asking you to get the facts. Know that this is being done to facilitate us today, and most importantly, as we move over into the future. thank you. That's my spiel for right now, and I'll probably say it again, but we need your help, is all I'm saying to you. All of us. When we're out and about, we need your help. Get the facts. We're being very transparent. Go for it, Dennis, and you repeat that. Don't you say?
Okay, in here, you got $36,000 potentially for right-of-way acquisitions and documents.
That's correct.
That's paperwork. That's not paying anybody or paying value for that right-of-way. I understand, except for the church that we're dealing with the school district. Will the council be notified if there's any additional funds spent to buy that property? Besides working with the school district and getting it for $1 in valuable information?
Sure, yeah, I mean, along the way, we'll certainly communicate with the council about what's going on. Anything that requires $25,000 or more is going to require your approval, which if we're buying a substantial amount of land, that's going to come to the council anyway for that. Remember that, yeah, so this contract is just the design contract, right? Anything that would come in actual land purchases would be different contracts we'd have with those property owners. Anything over $25,000.
No, I understand, but I'd like council to be notified if there's any cost besides $1. Because the school district should be working with us on this.
Absolutely.
That's my opinion.
Yep.
The next, so that takes care of that one, I take care of that one. We do not know at this time if putting a roundabout there will increase or decrease our manpower necessary, like for the crossing guards, because that may have to be relocated, so.
Correct, yeah, so we what we know is that our goal is to not have anyone, to not need traffic guards there at that location at Marshall Creek and Bobcat. That is our goal on it, for it to be facilitated only by traffic itself.
So
So
we're not reducing
whether or not we have to move someone, we're
any
not sure.
personnel costs. This is strictly for 4.5. Now, I realize everybody's talking 4.5 million, but if you throw interest on it, it comes out to be 7 to 7.5 million. And my opinion is we could hire 2 additional policemen for 25 years for that type of money, and I'm going to vote against it. Thank you.
Okay. Other comments? Other comments?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, good.
I'll make a motion to authorize the town manager to negotiate and execute a professional services agreement with Tignall and Perkins, Inc. for a not-to-exceed amount of $686,000 for survey, utility engineering, right-of-way acquisition, civil engineering, bidding, and construction administration, grant coordination, and construction inspection services for the Bobcat Traffic Improvements Project.
I'll second. Stacy seconds. All those in favor? Okay. All those opposed? Dennis opposes. Motion passes. Thank you.
Item 7, consider an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2025 budget to authorize a one-time transfer from general fund balance to the capital replacement fund for planned capital expenditures through fiscal year 2025-2030 in accordance with the capital replacement fund plan and financial reserves policy.
Okay, April.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Tonight, I'm here to present a strategic proposal regarding the use of our general fund reserves that exceed the amount outlined in our financial reserves policy. This discussion outlines transferring general fund reserves to pay for the town's capital equipment replacement spanning fiscal years 2025 through 2030. First, a bit of context. In April 2024, the town updated its financial reserves policy to maintain an unassigned general fund balance within a 30 to 50% range of annual operating expenditures with a preferred target of 45%. As of the end of fiscal year 2023-24, we exceeded the upper limit of this target with 87%. This reserve level puts us in a strong financial position and provides an opportunity for strategic reinvestment. We're proposing to transfer $3,065,000 in one-time funds to the Capital Equipment Replacement Fund. This plan aligns with the financial reserves policy by dedicating reserves above the target to non-recurring needs that improve public safety, infrastructure, and service delivery. The plan prioritizes critical equipment across key departments: police, EMS, Parks and Recreation, and Community Development, and includes a provision to set aside emergency funds, the use of which will be guided by a formal process and policy to be approved by this council. These items allow us to incur no new debt, preserve the integrity of our operating budgets, and prevents the deferral of essential capital purchases. By phasing this investment over 5 years, we maintain flexibility while ensuring the town's long-term resilience and readiness. With the majority of the $3,065,000 being transferred to cover future year capital equipment costs, a portion of that amount is requested to be allocated to be spent in the current fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025. $392,000 is requested in the current year for the replacement of body-worn cameras and taser units, emergency medical service equipment, a simulation mannequin for the fire department, trailers for parks and streets, and utility vehicles utilized by the Parks Department. The amendment also includes the purchase of a new mobile vehicle barrier system to increase public security during parades and other large gatherings. We believe this framework can serve us well in future years when excess reserves are available again. Tonight, your approval for the proposed budget amendment to initiate this reinvestment. Tonight we seek your approval for this proposed budget amendment to initiate this reinvestment. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Mayor, I do have one question. If this is approved
Yes, sir.
and the transfer of the 3 point whatever that funds, what will that reduce our
Fund balance
fund
ratio.
balance, yeah, reserved, from 87 to what?
I believe it puts us about 55, 54,
Okay.
And it's supposed to be between 40.
30 and 50,
Okay,
with a target of 45. Yes,
that's
ma'am.
right, target's 40.
That means we got a little headroom when budget time starts.
I know.
Or to think what I'm thinking. Okay.
Hey, hey, hey. I also noticed that I think you would like to indicate that we're dedicating 500,000.
Yes, ma'am, to an
Would you like to
emergency.
speak to that?
That will be set aside for an emergency fund, and as I stated, we will bring back a policy. All of those funds will be expensed once that policy is, which is going to be guided by the council. So none of that will be spent without council's approval, essentially.
But that 500,000 is set aside for emergency planning.
Yes.
That's for-
Yeah,
That's
essentially,
for our number one objective.
We'll figure
Managing our
that.
emergency, huh?
But we'll workshop the exact triggers for that
Sure.
policy or for that money when we see the policy.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So an emergency fund in use of emergencies, we will have to define what that is, how that money gets spent in emergencies with that, and we'll obviously bring forward a policy for the council to consider. So, but this provides the funding for us now to have that reserve set aside so that we can better address emergencies more spontaneously without necessarily always relying on general fund reserves to be the only source for that.
Okay, good. Other questions, comments? Anybody? Do you have anything?
Thank you for answering all my questions before the meeting.
Thank you for answering all of Dennis's questions before the meeting.
Thank you for answering his questions. Because apparently you must have answered them satisfactorily. So,
We try.
good job. Thank you. Ryland, Gary, you have any, Ryland?
I'm good. Again, this is reflective of our capital replacement policy. There was a time when we were making policy but didn't have the special fund designated, and I didn't learn that until I got back on a council year. I'm like, wait, I thought we did that, and we said we were doing it, but we just didn't do the paperwork part on the accounting side. So this is just a reflection of proper procedure to follow policy, and it's why we set these parameters around our fund management. So it's exciting when things work the way they're supposed to.
And this means we can do the same thing next year and get all this money, right?
Correct, yeah. The goal is, right, hopefully we have a leftover amount after every year.
Yeah.
And we're doing better than 50%.
that's
That's everyone's
wonderful.
goal here on it. Then we'll take those extra dollars and we'll reinvest them into the things that we need, right? So we'll take a look at, and remember, as we adopted the budget, we did not have necessarily a dedicated funding source every year for how it is we do our capital replacement. Relying on some of these types of opportunities to fund and get ahead of ourselves for future years on replacing equipment across our operating departments. That's exactly what we're doing right now, right? We're just being very consistent with the way the policy was written.
Great. Other comments, anybody? We need a motion, please. Anybody make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda item for reallocating the budget.
I'll second. Okay, Stacy seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next agenda item, please. Thank you,
Consider the
April.
selection of a mayor pro tem.
Okay, I'm going to open the table for nominations, please.
Mayor, I would put forth the name of Rylan Rowe for Mayor Pro Tem.
Are there other nominations? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Dennis seconds, Rylan being Mayor Pro Tem. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes. Welcome, Rylan.
Ma'am.
Before I call the meeting to adjournment, I just want to make a comment because this is the perfect time to do it. It's the beginning of a new year, new council, and sooner than we know, it's time to elect more council people coming up in 12 months. So in 12 months, we're going to be having 2 places and the mayor on the ballot. And so I'm going to encourage people who are interested in serving this town to think about it, to consider the opportunity for yourself and for those who you want to represent. And I tell you now, so you begin to think about it. And the second way in which you participate and make a difference in this town is board appointments. And we're getting ready to get into that board appointment. And I cannot express to you, I just can't tell you how wonderful it is to go to our website and look at boards. And there's a whole different headings under there. You can learn so much about our boards. What board, what's their job, what's their expectation, who's retiring next year, what seats will be open. I encourage you to look at that page. It's very easy. Go to the website, click on government, go to board, and there it is. I'm encouraging people because why do I say this? When I'm out and about, people are saying, what can we do? What can I do? How can we make a difference in this town? And I'm just telling you, you can run for council and mayor, and you can serve on boards. And we're getting ready to open up our board selection within the next month. Is that right? We're going to really be pushing on it. And I'll just say, Stacy, Jeff, myself, we have really put together a very strong board with good, strong people in this town who want to serve your town Trophy Club. Matt, you agree? We have a good board. April, all these people out here, we have great boards. And thank you for all who are serving. And that is my second message for tonight, maybe my third. But I appreciate you. We appreciate you. We just have a wonderful town in which we serve and work. And I'm so proud of us when I go out and talk about Trophy Club to others. Gary, again, welcome to the what do we call it? Welcome to the council. God bless you.
The
It's
chaos.
adjourned.
Tammy, I'd like it written down that the mayor talked more than I did tonight.
So noted.
I'm gonna make sure in a minute